Hi and welcome to morning stretching. In between the exercises I'm going to read something about congenital obstructive uropathy and try to learn it. Participating in the exercise is at your own risk, and congenital obstructive uropathy has to do with complications during pregnancy and urination. Let's start with the first exercise. The legs are standing wide apart and we are breathing in and out. And breathe in and out. And again in and out. And in and out. And one last round. In and out. In. Out. And now we are closing the legs and we have done the opening exercise. Now we always breathe in through the nose, deep into the chest and out through the mouth. So breathe always in through the nose, into the chest and out through the mouth. Now to the first info snippet to congenital obstructive uropathy. A fetus can have a lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. A fetus is a child called when it's still in the tummy during pregnancy. A fetus can have a lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. So that is another name. What is called, what makes it a lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. So it's blocked. Obstruction means that it's blocked. The urine can't flow out through the lower urinary tract. The next exercise. The legs are standing a bit more than shoulder wide apart. We're breathing in and bringing the arms up. And out and we're going to the side. And we're breathing in and open the rib cage. So breathe in and out. And again in and out back into the middle. And breathe in and out to the other side. And breathe in and open the rib cage. And out. And again in and out back into the middle. So a fetus, a child when it's still in the tummy during pregnancy, can have a problem with the lower urinary tract and an obstruction, a blockage to pass the urine. That's the second bullet point. A lower urinary tract outflow obstruction prevents the fetus from passing urine. So the urine can't be passed from the bladder forward. There's an obstruction, and the obstruction is a blockage. During pregnancy, the fetus is in so-called amniotic fluid. The amniotic fluid facilitates the exchange of nutrients, water, and biochemical products. So the fetus, the young child, the unborn human, is not just in the tummy, but it is inside of amniotic fluid. And this amniotic fluid facilitates the exchange of nutrients, water, and biochemical products, as it is expressed here. The next exercise. The arms are down, we are breathing in, which tells us the legs are standing a bit more than shoulder wide apart. We are breathing in and out, and one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in and out, and we're taking the arm over. And we're breathing in and open the rib cage. So breathe in and out. And again in and out back into the middle. And breathe in and out. The hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in and out, and we're taking the arm over. And breathe in and open the rib cage. So breathe in and out. And again in and out. So by congenital obstructive uropathy, or a problem with the lower urinary tract, there's an obstruction, lower urinary tract urination, lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. The urine can't be passed from the bladder forward, and the fetus is in the tummy inside of amniotic fluid. and this amniotic fluid facilitates the exchange of nutrients, water, and biochemical products between the carrier of the child and the child. When a lower urinary tract outflow obstruction prevents the fetus from passing urine, the volume of the amniotic fluid facilitating the exchange of nutrients, water, and biochemical products is reduced. So the amount of the amniotic fluid in which the fetus is reduced if there is a problem with the lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. The volume of the amniotic fluid, which facilitates biochemical products, nutrients, and water from the carrier of the child to the fetus. The amount is reduced by this problem. The legs are standing a bit over each other wide apart, now weight down. The feet are standing together. We are breathing in, lifting the arms up, and out one hand comes down. And we breathe in and reach to both ends. So breathe in and reach. And out. And again in. And out one hand comes down. And breathe in and reach. And out. And again in. And the hand comes down to do the exercise in our cycle. So breathe in. No, just out. And now breathe in and reach. And out. And breathe now in. And out, one arm comes down. And breathe in and reach. And out. So by the congenital obstructive uropathy, the amount of amniotic fluid is reduced in which the fetus is. Congenital means that it is present at birth, so it's not coming through life, but it's before it, so it's congenital. I'm not sure if the term is correctly. Congenital, let's say that the other term for the rest of the video. Lower urinary tract outflow obstruction. When the fetus is through lower urinary tract outflow obstruction prevented from passing urine, that can lead to problems by the development of lungs and kidneys. The lungs and kidneys are organs in the human body. The lungs and kidneys are doing necessary jobs which are necessary for living. So if the amount of fluid is reduced by lower urinary tract outflow obstruction, the lungs and the kidneys, I don't know where they are exactly, can't be properly developed, and they are important for life. Without them, a person can't live. And the next exercise. The legs are standing wide apart. We are breathing in and out, and we're diving down. And breathe in and out. And again in and out. And again in. And out we're going to one leg. And breathe in. And out. And again in. And out we're changing to the other leg. And breathe in. And out. And get in. And out back into the middle. And now breathe in. And out we're coming up slowly with our round back and making at the top a backward shoulder roll. So through lower urinary tract outflow obstruction, the urine can't be passed properly from the bladder to the outside, and the amount of fluid, of amniotic fluid, is reduced, and that leads to developmental problems of the lungs and the kidneys of the fetus. When the volume of amniotic fluid is through lower urinary tract outflow reduced, the problem with the total amount of amniotic fluid is called oligohydramnion. Oligohydramnion is called if there is too little amniotic fluid. Oligohydramnion. Oligohydramnion. The next exercise, the feet are standing together, they are breathing in, and out, and we're diving down again. And breathe in, and out, and again in, and out, and in, and out, one more time in, and we're coming slowly up, veering out with a round back and making at the top a backward shoulder up. Visio-amniotic shunting procedure is a method to treat the oligohydramnion problem of too little amniotic fluid, which facilitates the fetus with nutrients, water, and biochemical products. By the visio-amniotic shunting procedure, a so-called visio-amniotic shunt, which works as a tube, is inserted into the bladder of a fetus to drain the urine this way. So if this problem of lower urinary tract outflow reduction is present and is detected, a method of treating is to insert a tube, a visio-amniotic shunt, into the bladder and drain the urine this way. The next exercise, the garland pose. The toes are pointing to the outside. We have an overland space between the heels. We're breathing in and lifting our arms up. And we're breathing out and going down and placing the elbows against the inside of the knees. And we're pressing a bit against it. Now we breathe in and we straighten up the back. So breathe in. And out, and we're going with the back. And breathe in. And out, back into the garland pose. And breathe in. And out, back into the garland pose. And breathe in. And out. Now we breathe in, we breathe out, coming slowly up in one straight line. So breathe in. And out, and we're coming slowly up in one straight line. So, the amount of the volume, if the amount of volume is too little of amniotic fluid, it is called oligohydramnion. 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 The last exercise, we're having a standing leg and we're placing the heel of a mobile leg above the knee of a standing leg. Do this only if you can do it without injuring the knee. And we're going down. So by lower urinary tract outflow obstruction, the urine can't be passed properly by the fetus during pregnancy from the bladder, and that leads to a too little amount of amniotic fluid, which facilitates the exchange of nutrients, water, and biochemical products between the carrier of a child and the child. And if the amount of amniotic fluid is too little, then it is called oligohydramnion. And one try to treat this lower urinary tract outflow obstruction is to insert a vascular amniotic shunt into the bladder and drain the bladder that way. And we're coming up again, looking forward. Visio-amniotic shunting. Visio-amniotic. And the last exercise, we are breathing in and out. In, out, and again in, out, in, and out. And now we're closing the legs. And we are done with the morning stretching. So by lower urinary tract outflow obstruction, the urine count by the fetus during pregnancy can't probably transport it from the bladder to the outside. And that leads to a too little amount of amniotic fluid, which is called oligohydramnion. And one try to treat this, and that leads to, if there's too little amount of to the developmental problems of kidney and lungs, and one try to treat this is to insert a vascular amniotic shunt into the bladder and drain the bladder this way. I thank you very much, and until the next time.